Guys, this video is sponsored by SimpliSafe, but we'll talk about those guys later in the video.
Man, I'm not in the market for this bike, but I can't lie, with the white, the red, and the black, dude, I'm all about this. This is about to be a fun episode. What's going on, everybody? Chaseontwowheels here at Mountain Motorsports in Roswell, Georgia. In front of us, we have a brand new Ducati Scrambler. This is the Urban Motard. You guys know, I think I've ridden almost every Scrambler out there, so when I saw them come out with this thing, I'm like, dude, this is up my freaking alley. Today should be a very fun first ride. So with so many Scramblers in the market, we got to figure out what slot does this fill and who should ride this motorcycle, or buy this motorcycle. But first, guys, we got to see what it looks like and we got to see what it sounds like. Alright guys, that's what it looks like, that's what it sounds like. Now before we get going, you guys know we got that beautiful camera car footage. Let's see who's supporting the channel this time to keep us rolling.
Thanks SimpliSafe for sponsoring this video. For you guys that don't already know, SimpliSafe is an easier way to secure your home and family. SimpliSafe systems are customized to your home with a comprehensive lineup of sensors and cameras that all connect to their 24/7 monitoring service that sends help fast in an emergency. You simply go on their website and go through all of the sensors, and you just grab as many as you need to cover all the spots in your house. They've got all types of sensors that cover windows, rooms, doors, and lots of great extras like water sensors, smoke detectors, as well as cameras, both for outdoor, doorbell cams, and indoor cameras. With all of their sensors, your home, garage, or shop is professionally monitored 24/7. If anything happens, SimpliSafe's always-on team will call authorities immediately. Plus, trying SimpliSafe is completely risk-free. If you don't absolutely love your system, just return it within 60 days for a full refund. I've had really terrible experiences with other security companies locking me into contracts, and then I have to pay them to cancel it when me and my wife moved. Now I don't have to worry about that anymore with SimpliSafe. By the time I finally get to call it a day, I barely have the brain space to remember to enjoy what I have, much less protect it. Luckily, SimpliSafe takes a few steps out of the process by eliminating the need to schedule a service appointment, as well as delivering it directly to you. That way, when you get a free moment, you can knock out what you can and pick back up the next day. Save up to 40% on your SimpliSafe security system during SimpliSafe's biggest sale of the year. Visit simplisafe.com/chase to customize yours. Just visit simplisafe.com/chase to learn more. Also, thank you guys for checking them out because it really helps the channel out. And as always, there's no safe like SimpliSafe. And now, back to the video.
Alright guys, that's it for ads. Thank you guys so much for sticking around. Alright, no, I'm not making the mistake last time. Did you guys see that last first try where I forgot my phone in my pocket? And I tried to put my phone on the quad lock. I was able to do it successfully, but I ain't trying to do sketchy stuff today, so boom. Quad lock, sponsor of the channel. Thank you so much, Quad lock. Alright guys, Urban Motard. Let's see what this thing's all about. Alright guys, I am 5'10". I got a 32-inch inseam, and I got these new Icon boots on. They're kind of thick at the bottom. You guys can kind of see, but I've got bent legs. We got a super low seat height on this bike. 5'10", 32-inch inseam, super bent legs. We'll have to see if this bike is a tiny boy or not, but let's get this thing going. And guys, if you are into Discord, we got a Discord server for you guys full of motorcyclists. You know, if you're one of those Discord people, click that link in the description and go hang out with some other motorcyclists. And without further ado, let's wait for traffic. without further ado, let's sit here and do nothing. All right, we gotta get out of this traffic. All right, guys, we are here on Ducati's 2022 Scrambler Urban Motard, or is it Ducati even? It's Scrambler by Ducati, who the hell knows? Ducati treats Scrambler as its own brand these days, which is kind of cool and then also kind of confusing. So, it is what it is. This one, 803cc air-cooled, note. L-twin, we've got 79 horsepower, or 70, I think it's 79 horsepower, 40-something foot-pounds of torque, and a weight of 432 pounds, if I remember my numbers correctly. All right, guys, let's talk about body position real quick. I have got a comfy seat. This thing is just squishy as heck. My upper body is upright. My arms feel very wide holding the handlebars here, and my legs feel slightly back. I'm in a good body position, but I gotta say, my arms being so wide out, I feel like I'm pushing a lawnmower or something. I'm interested to see how this kind of handlebar situation plays out. A very odd handlebar. Everything else is comfy though. Feels fun, feels approachable. All right, so we got the regular Ducati controls, and it says we can press it in for modes, but if I remember correctly, this bike has no modes. So we are not getting modes on this $12,000 Scrambler from Ducati. You get all the bike and it's all you. I don't really think this bike necessarily needs modes. Urban Motard makes me feel like Ducati's really pushing this thing for you live in a big city and you want to scoot around the city. This kind of city riding is really where Ducati's pushing this. You can see that in their advertising. They have the bike like pulled up next to what is it, like a basketball court. I'm gonna ride to my basketball game on my Urban Motard Scrambler, which is kind of dope. If you do that, you pull up, pull your pants off, your riding pants off, and you got basketball shorts on. That'd be pretty slick, honestly. But this big handlebar, it gives me a decent amount of maneuverability with the bike. I feel like I can just push it over and all. That mixed with the lightweight makes this urban environment super chill to ride this thing around on. It's like the Scrambler that's my WR. My WR is a 250, so we got a lot more power here. Another weird thing I love about my WR is like how tall it is, because I do feel like even though I've got Supermoto wheels on it, I can kind of take it anywhere. I don't get that with this bike because I do feel kind of squatty. I do feel low to the ground. I feel like this could go anywhere where there's asphalt and it'd be fun, especially with the road tires that it has on it. You are definitely going to be relegated to a urban environment when you're on this thing. Now, that doesn't mean you couldn't get a couple of little 50/50 tires and put it on here and see what happens, but right now it looks and feels like this bike is destined for the asphalt world. I am really liking this lightweight though. It one of the things that I feel like is really important for a motorcycle that's gonna be an urban style motorcycle, it's got to be lightweight, man. I've got to be able to like flick it around traffic, because especially if you're in California, you're going to be doing a lot of lane splitting. Riding in a city, if you don't have the right bike, it is a pain in the butt. But something lightweight and fun like this, and if it's lightweight enough, it feels almost like a toy. This bike goes into that category of feeling, do we call it toy-ish? We'll call it playful. Playful is probably a more professional word to use. So this bike has a very fun, playful nature. I don't know. It feels like it has the right amount of power. I'm getting a little vibration, a little high up in the revs though. Where are we at? 4,000? Vibration at 4,000? That's a little much. It's almost like a whole package. I'm squatted down on this bike. The handlebars seem low. My arms are kind of like out wide. And the bike is super light. So is Ducati playing into this like tiny playful bike to be in the urban playground? That's what it feels like. Suspension wise, we do not have adjustable suspension. Doesn't surprise me at all for a motorcycle that is like this. I don't think this is really a track weapon, you know. This is a ride around a urban city, and I kind of feel like they're killing it, to be honest. I'm actually having a good time in traffic, which is interesting because it's air-cooled. Throwing this bike over, it is so fun. That's where that lightweight super comes into its own. Let's get to the front of the line, shall we? I am super getting my Supermoto, like, old school vibes with this bike. And I gotta tell you guys, I freaking love it. I haven't ridden my Supermoto in quite a minute, but I'm now missing it because I'm doing this first ride. While we're stuck at this red light, guys, going back and forth, this bike, you lean it over a little bit and it starts getting a little, like, you can feel the weight, but this thing is just incredibly light. You know, we've been talking about that playful nature of this thing. I miss a playful motorcycle. I need to ride my WR250 more. It does make it a little more approachable to not be so high up, because this bike is a little heavier, I believe, than my WR250, but with it being lower to the ground, you can get your foot down and control the bike easily. This thing's legit, man. It's a fun little thing. I can feel some heat coming off the bike, and we can talk about the air-cooledness instead of liquid-cooled. So typically a motorcycle's air-cooled or liquid-cooled. This one's air-cooled, so there's no coolant in this bike. The motorcycle has to shed its own heat, which to me would mean that it's going to get hot in traffic, and if you're in an urban environment, you're probably going to hit traffic. So that's interesting to go down that path with the Scramblers, and I believe all the Scramblers are air-cooled. I think that's one of the things about them. It does make it easier to work on the bike. You don't have to worry about radiators and hoses and all that jazz. I would imagine it would kind of get hot, right? Maybe I'm wrong. We'll find out. I can feel it getting a little warm right now, but it's kind of a cooler day, so it's getting warm, but I'm like, bro, that's welcomed. Absolutely welcome today. You know, the more bikes I ride, I feel like the more I fall in love with the 800 and 900 cc range of bikes. There's a great balance that these bikes are having, that they're plenty powerful for the highway and they're punchy on the street. I just think it's a really good spot for a seasoned motorcyclist that rides all types of stuff. This thing being an 803 fits right into that, and they're just super light, but they have so much ample power. Now, the urban environment, a lot of the times people live in an urban environment, but sometimes people live outside of the urban environment but commute in to go to work. The question is, how does the Urban Motard Scrambler do on the highway to get you to where it wants to be a motard? That's the question. We don't have anything for wind resistance other than this foam. So highway should be interesting. 40 to 80 pull should also be interesting. All right, I'm feeling like this might be a first gear situation, maybe second. Let's see what RPMs 40 miles per hour gives us. All right, definitely a second gear. All right, boys. 2022 Ducati Scrambler Urban Motard, 40 to 80, set, go. There she blows. A full send through second and a little tap at third. Got us up to the speed we needed. Not really bad for an 800cc Urban Motard. This thing I don't think is made for 40 to 80 pulls, but it handled that just fine. So guys, we are on the highway. Hopefully you can hear me with all the wind. Let's talk about highway. This is one of those bikes where I'm leaned forward a little bit to try to fight the wind, but the bike, I'm naturally sitting upright. I have to lean forward though, because otherwise it's gonna push me back. We are having to fight the wind here. Like, I'm not even gonna do my hand thing because there's no wind protection at all. I could probably stand about 20 minutes on the highway, but after that, I'm gonna get a little, this much wind's gonna get a little old. As far as stability on the highway, you know, 432 pounds is not a lot. I am feeling the wind kind of have its way with me. So I'm having to consciously stay in the lane where I want to stay. Again, I think this would be fine for a commute of like 15 or 20 minutes. You're not going to have a good time anything over that, but that's not really what I expect out of an Urban Motard, so it's not too bad. As far as agility on the highway, it feels super fine going side to side, and obviously power-wise, you know, we've got 79 horsepower, we got 40-something foot-pounds of torque. I got no problem scooting around traffic, easily getting into the triple digits, so no problem there. You know, if I had a windscreen, it might not make it so bad, but alas, it does not come with one, so we are not testing it with one. Overall, I give this thing a solid 15-20 minutes for the highway before I'm like, all right, dude, I'm done. It goes without saying, we don't have any creature comforts like cruise control or anything like that. This is one of those situations where I do not care, though. Cruise control's not gonna do jack for me. My abs will get tired before my wrist gets tired on the highway. But let's get off the highway and let's test this thing where it needs to be tested, on the city streets. What you giving me for leaning this thing over? What do we feel like? What are we gonna feel like? I'll admit, I don't feel crazy planted right now. I'm not going anywhere. Bike's wiggling around a little bit, but I wouldn't complain about that, I don't think. Again, I'm not buying this to do a track day. I'm buying this to like scoot around town and have fun. So that's totally fine. But guys, before we keep going, we're gonna jump into the camera car and see what those guys think about the Urban Motard. Thanks to our buddies over at Cardo.
I love the fact that Ducati has moved this line out from under just like the entire umbrella. Like, I know they've been working it for a while, but I just think it's a cool move for Ducati.
It looks awful lot like every other Scrambler that they have. I don't know what's different about this one, but it looks cool. It looks a little short, but then again, not short. It's like tall but short. Torqued.
All right, guys, thank you so much for your opinions on the Urban Motard, and even more so, thank you, Cardo. If you guys want to grab the best Bluetooth units available for motorcyclists, we got a discount code and a link in the description. Go check it out. Grab yourself a Bluetooth unit. We could not recommend them enough. All right, guys, so power delivery here on the Urban Motard. Really punchy power, but I don't think it's too much. I really like the level of power I'm getting on this bike. It feels adequate for the type of riding I want to do. I will say the power's a little light up on the highway when you get the bike revved out, but when you're here in town where, you know, we'll call it the natural environment for an Urban Motard, I think they've nailed the power delivery. It's punchy, it's fun. The most importantly, I don't feel at any point I'm not able to control it. And this is a brand new bike, so it's gonna do nothing but get more powerful. There's no need for any more power than this on city streets. 80cc, great situation to be in. As far as suspension goes, like I told you guys, this is not gonna feel like the most sporty suspension, but it's a little playful, and I think that's the perfect suspension for these situations. You're gonna smooth over the bumps you go through. We've hit a couple bumps today. I've had no problem. Bike just flies right over them. I hammered on the brakes, and this thing came to a stop. Now, part of that was the suspension dive, which, you know, it's a softer suspension. The bike's going to dive forward when you're giving it a lot of front brake. This thing comes to a stop quick. It's a Ducati, I imagine. Yeah, look at the Brimbos on the front, dude. Those things are massive. And you can tell. You are not going to have any problems braking this motorcycle at all. I honestly feel like the brakes might be more powerful than the engine, truly, even though it's brand new. All right, guys, so as far as gears, the gears seem to be like nailed. I'm shifting when I feel like I need to, and I'm getting to shift a decent amount, which makes me have a good time as a rider. And we've been on mostly city stuff. You guys saw we were in 6th gear on the highway going 96 easy, and the engine was purring. So, you know, I'm kind of playing around between 1st and 4th, and I'll pop it into 5th occasionally if I'm on a bigger road. But I'm having a great time shifting up and down through the gears. I think at the end of the day, this thing's just fun to ride, man. Which isn't that what we're all looking for? Just a fun to ride. But are you not even trying for the green? Okay, cool. This is the most lackadaisical Tesla drive. You're just gonna roll through? What the fuck was that? Oh my goodness, what the hell is driving the Tesla? Alright guys, let's talk about the controls here. We've talked about them on the other Scramblers, and it is exactly what you expect out of a Scrambler. Very minimal setup. We got the Scrambler dash here, which handles everything here. And then it has the little indicator buttons on the side. Let's just watch and see how this ends up. You have a blinker on. Okay, cool, thank you. Is the Tesla driving or is it a human? I do think for 12 grand, I would like to see this guy become a TFT. You know, maybe in 2023, Ducati can up the Scramblers to give us a TFT here. I just think this bike looks cool and colorful. And then you see that dash, and the dash works fine. It gives us everything we need to know. It's a little old looking. I am also not a huge fan of scrolling through the menu on this dash. The only menu thing you can really change is this guy right here. You can change with range and all this other stuff, but it feels very old school where you click up and, here, I'll show you. You click up, and then you have to, let's go to settings, and you'll see what I'm talking about. There's so many. You have to hold a button or something. Yep, who knows? Not a huge fan of the screen. Now, as far as the grips, love the grips. You guys know I love Ducati grips. The levers have been solid. They are both adjustable, which I'm looking for adjustable levers on every single motorcycle I'm on. The pegs, both the shifter and the brake, they feel great. The brakes actually feel really good too. I know I didn't touch on them back there because I got distracted by the Tesla. The brakes have a really good initial bite, and then it progresses really good into a strong braking feel. I love that. I could use these brakes with one finger, and that's kind of what I'm wanting out of a motorcycle. But yeah, the controls very tactile, very Ducati. You're gonna get that Ducati fit and finish on this Urban Scrambler for sure. They use the same controls, it looks like, for all of their Scramblers, and I'm a fan of them. I love the way they feel. Even through gloves, I can get a good feel of what I'm doing, so I never find myself looking down to be like, did I do what I was wanting to do? All right, guys, we're gonna pull off here and do a little walk around of the Urban Motard, see what she looked like, because I think she's pretty. All right, boom. Kickstands are way back there, goodness gracious. Look how tiny it is. Love that. All right, guys, here is the Ducati Scrambler Urban Motard, and what an Urban Motard it is. Dude, this thing is a trip. I love the way this thing looks. If it was me, I'd get a little, this is a little too orange for me. I want it more towards that Ducati red. I love the wheels. I love the spokes. I love everything, man. This might be the most fun little Ducati I have ever ridden. The seat's a little cushy, a little too soft on the seat, but as far as the looks, man, I think they absolutely nailed it. I think the engine looks good. You got the exposed frame. You got these covers that black out the brown from the exhaust, and I think it has a fun little sound. Might upgrade the exhaust if it was me. I know we're kind of split, the audience and me, but I love the clean tail look. You guys see how there's no license plate bracket? I love it when it's swing arm mounted. I wouldn't change that at all because I don't care about that. If you give me that really clean looking tail, I'm sold. I've seen like back and forth. Some people can't stand it. Some people like it. I'm one of the people that absolutely likes it. This thing is such a fun little bike though, especially if you live in town and you don't have to do a lot of highway, dude. This thing's a peach. So guys, I'm going to grab my phone off the quad lock real quick and take some photos for Instagram. If you guys are on Instagram, you should follow us at C2W Pics. We post all types of behind the scenes stuff and stuff from First Ride, so make sure to go check us out over there. We're also on TikTok at Chaseontwowheels, so go check us out there. I'm going to take some photos and I'll be right back. All right, boom. Photos are on Instagram. If you are watching this video, go check them out. There's something to be said about fun little bikes that, I'm saying little, but it's 800cc, you know? It's a lot. All right, guys, we're going to get back on this thing and figure out who this bike is for. But first, we have to do the steering stem lock test. And for something that's going to be in an urban environment, you're going to need some steering stem lock. So let's see what we got. Good showing. That was almost as good as that VFR from last week. All right, guys. Let's have a discussion on who needs to buy this motorcycle. Alrighty, guys. So you're watching this video and you're like, I wonder if that bike is for me. Here is who you are if you're saying that. With a Ducati Scrambler Urban Motard, you have to understand something. This bike is $11,900 MSRP, which means you're probably going to go out the door at least at $12,500 or something like that. You're spending a decent amount of money. Is there other motorcycles that will give you just as much fun for way less? Absolutely. If you're one of those people where you want a Scrambler, and there's Scramblers from Triumph. So Triumph makes Scramblers, Ducati makes Scramblers, a lot of people make Scrambler style bikes. The question is this bike worth 12 grand? I think it's worth 12 grand to you if you are a big Ducati fan, or alternatively, you just really like the way this bike specifically looks. That would work out for you. If you like the way it looks, like I said, I feel like this bike, compared to other Scramblers that I've ridden, has a lot more character, and I'm having a hilariously fun time on this. I honestly love this motorcycle, like, no lie. My 30-minute commute to work in the morning is all back roads. I would have a freaking ball on this motorcycle. So if you've got the budget and you do a lot of urban style riding, like riding around town, like running to do stuff, and you're not doing like a major trip, I think this bike would fit you so well. I love the bike for that style of riding. I think you guys really would too if you checked it out. It's probably one of the more fun 800cc bikes I've ridden in quite a while. I've had a phenomenal time on this first ride, and I am authentically gonna be sad to give it back. So take that for what you will. So guys, I would love to ride this thing around all day, but unfortunately I gotta take it back to Mountain. So before we get out of here, I want to give a shout out to my guys over at Mountain Motorsports. They have a ton of dealerships up here in North Georgia. If you're looking for a motorcycle, they have tons of inventory, so look them up, see if there's one nearby you, and at least go and sit on some bikes. They have a ton of inventory, and I wouldn't be able to do first rides if it wasn't for Mountain Motorsports, so I do appreciate them loaning us these bikes so we can ride them for you guys. And guys, that's all I got. Hopefully you found this video interesting, and I appreciate you riding with me. You guys ride safe out there, and I'll see you on the next one. Later. Outro crew, thank you for getting to the end of the video. Make sure to put OC in your comments down below, because that makes me know to love you a little bit longer. Also, it confuses the shit of all the people that don't make it to the outro, so it's our own little club. Let me know, is 12 grand too much for a bike that's only a ball inside of an urban environment? Like, I guess if that's all you're riding, 12 grand is 12 grand. It is what it is. But is that too much? You guys let me know in the comments down below, and I will see you next time. Later.